And I'm back with actually our last set of keywords and concepts videos. I know you're going to miss this. You're going to be disappointed to never have these again. But let's get going. All right, so chapter 18.1 keywords. We have a bunch of just random stuff in here that I need you guys to learn. First one, agricultural revolution. This was kind of a big deal for humanity. This was the period during which most societies began to develop economies, right? Because we had to. If you're only growing oats, you're going to need to buy other stuff. You can't live on oats. That's not going to happen. So we start to develop economies. So that was several thousand years ago, about 10,000 years ago, actually, that we started agriculture. So we've had economies for quite some time. We've been doing this for a while. Subsistence farming is a type of farming that a lot of people still do. It is agriculture which produces only enough for you to eat and pay your taxes, right? So the farming is for your own personal subsistence. You're not taking it to market to sell it. You're not growing a crop that nobody eats, but they use for dog food or something. You are specifically growing food for yourself and your family and food to pay your taxes, however you're going to do that. This is still a fairly common way of living in a lot of the world. Another thing that's very common in lots of the world, even here, is bartering. Bartering is where you're exchanging one form of goods or services for another, right? So this is kind of any economic transaction that doesn't include money. So if you say, hey, I don't have enough money to buy a new guitar, but if you give me yours, I'll mow your lawn for the next 2 months. Okay, sounds like a deal to me. That's bartering, right? Moving on from that, we have commodity. This is a physical object we find, grow, or make to meet our needs and those of others. The most important thing with commodities is to understand that it's stuff. It's not enough to just say it's stuff, but it doesn't have to be a physical thing. So a commodity cannot be an NFT, right? It has to be a physical object you can hold in your hands that is actually useful for things. So when you talk about commodities markets, you're talking about corn and pigs and, actual things. And then the last one, this slide that we have is recession. This occurs when there are 2 or more consecutive quarters of economic decline. And you guys have seen a couple of these, as have I. We all have. All right, moving on. We got a couple more. First one up, mechanical solidarity. Our buddy Durkheim's back. So this is an idea that exists in simpler societies where social cohesion, so basically how does everybody get along, comes from sharing similar work, education, and religion, right? So everybody in the country worships the same God, does the same kind of work, and has had the same level of education. So they're going to get along because they don't have a reason not to be. They kind of share the same world. This is, like I said, this is Durkheim. We don't have this, obviously, right, here in the US. We have what's known as organic solidarity. Organic solidarity comes when people form that cohesion around abstract ideas and concepts. So in America, we have organic solidarity around things like democracy and freedom, liberty, things like that, because we don't have a lot in common, right? We have different faiths, work, religions, levels of education, etc. Moving on to your favorite. I know how much you guys love the conflict theorists. Conflict theory of the economy. This one's pretty straightforward because it's where it comes from. This is the economy is not a source of stability for society. Instead, the economy reflects and reproduces economic inequality, particularly in a capitalist marketplace. I have Poodle here at the end of this. One of my classes renamed Karl Marx the Poodle. So I've been using the poodle instead of Karl Marx in some of my slides, so that's still up. But that's Karl Marx's theory, right? Is that basically the people on the top who have all the money keep changing the rules to make sure that they'll continue to have all the money. And then our last concept here, kind of an old one, but still in existence, is mercantilism. Mercantilism is an economic policy based on accumulating specifically silver and gold by controlling colonial and foreign markets through taxes and other charges. Guys, this was America before the revolution, right? This is what Britain was doing here. This is what Britain was doing in Africa. This is what Germany and France and Belgium were doing in Africa and parts of Asia and here in the Caribbean. The resulting restrictive practices and exacting demands included monopolies, bans on certain goods, high tariffs, exclusivity requirements. Remember the Stamp Act, stuff like that, right? It's literally the reason for our revolution. So the easiest way to remember mercantilism is it's our old economy before we left Britain, right? We were just trying to make money for Britain. We didn't like that. So that's the last of our keywords and concepts from this section. I will be back with the next section.